Roch Kubatko is going to join us now. And Roch, I want to say, first of all, you and Shai Davidi have the best names in all of the American League. You certainly win your division. Roch Kubatko is one of the coolest names I have ever heard. But more than that, you do a tremendous job covering the Orioles for MASN. So let's talk first about Adley Rutschman. I mean, this is a young kid that had a lot of expectations on him. He soaked it all in when he was making his debut. What have you seen?
Yeah, I mean, he's such an outstanding talent, and he has a tremendous amount of pressure on him. I think the thing that really stands out beyond the tools and what he does on the field is just how easily and calmly he handles all this. It's not like the first time he's had attention. He's been getting it, since he was playing in high school and in college at Oregon State, in the College World Series, and the National Player of the Year, scouts flocking to his games. He's been interviewed many, many times before. So this isn't going to rattle him. And, he gets a lot of attention. Every affiliate that he'd report to with the Orioles, a massive media scrum. He's very calm. He was very popular among the veterans his first couple camps in spring training, which I always think is a good sign. Because if you're a cocky kid rubbing guys the wrong way, the veterans will let you know in a hurry, and they'll let the media know. And they've really embraced this guy. And beyond that, he's just got all the tools. And if it was just about defense, a lot of scouts would have told you, look, he's ready for the majors the day of the draft. It was just refining, learning to call a game, learning the staff, and then, of course, developing the offensive tools, power both sides of the plate. He's going to be fine, but just the expectations are so high. The hype machine is in overdrive, and I always think of, Matt Wieters, switch hitting catcher, the Orioles' first-round pick, was supposed to be the next Johnny Bench. Maurer with power. He had a really nice career, and yet though people will tell you he was a disappointment because he only won a couple Gold Gloves and went to a couple All-Star games, and he wasn't the next Johnny Bench. He's not going in the Hall of Fame, and now Rutschman has those exact same expectations and pressures on him, but I think he'll handle it fine.
Yeah, there are very few Johnny Benches, very few Yadier Molinas if you're talking about an active player that's on his way to the Hall of Fame. All right, he caught in his debut and then he DH'd the last two games. Is that going to be a set schedule for him? What do you anticipate in terms of time behind the plate?
He's going to be the main catcher, and it could be 4 or 5 times a week. He's going to DH. He can play first base, and he was doing a little bit of it in the minors. But right now, they really don't have any plans to play him at first because they don't need to. They have Mountcastle, they have Mancini. At some point, Tyler Nevin will come back up. He can play some first. So they really want him mainly catching. But he had caught 3 straight games, 3 straight days in a row in AAA for the first time. Had a day off Friday, which got everybody buzzing about whether he was on his way. Then he caught Saturday. He was the DH on Sunday, but ended up playing behind the plate. They lost their designated hitter in that extra inning game when they beat the Rays. So he did a little bit of catching that day as well. So they just thought, look, it's a good idea to DH him again yesterday. He's going to be in the lineup tonight as the catcher. He'll catch tomorrow. He is the primary guy. Of course, Robinson Chirinos, he was willing, of course, to move to the backup role. He'll still get plenty of at-bats, but he knew when he signed as a minor league free agent that, at some point I'm stepping aside for this kid because he is the main catcher.
Yeah, the Orioles are playing well as of right now, Roch. They've won 4 of their last 5, and they're beating some really good teams. The New York Yankees, of course, the Rays. 3 of those wins in the beginning of that stretch were of the walk-off variety. What do you think has been the reason?
It took 2 or 3 in St. Louis, too, and then they got swept in Detroit. So it's still not easy. The pitching is much better. And Brandon Hyde, that's the first thing he'll tell you. It always starts with starting pitching, but the rotation has been surprisingly good considering that, John Means is out of it for the whole year. He only made 2 starts. And you have unproven guys. They don't have track records beyond a Jordan Lyles, who's more the innings eater type durability guy. It's not like he has a great career ERA, but he gives you a chance to win every 5 days, and he is consuming those innings. But Tyler Wells was a Rule 5 guy who was their closer last year. Didn't pitch for 2 years because of Tommy John, the 2020 season being canceled, of course, in the minors. And now he's in the rotation. There are strict innings limits for him because they don't want to shut him down later. Kyle Bradish, one of their top pitching prospects, is up now. They're being very careful with his innings, get him through the whole summer. Bruce Zimmerman's still pretty new at this. He's been good. But again, these aren't guys who've done this for any length of time in the majors and have a track record. Yet the rotation's been really good. Spencer Watkins, or number 5, is on the IL now with a bruised elbow. So they're going to have to make some adjustment there. But the rotation's been good. The bullpen's been really good. And that was after trading Cole Sulser and Tanner Scott at the end of spring training. You think that might punch a couple big holes in that bullpen in the back end. They have a lot of guys that are minor league grinders, Hyde calls them. So even though they don't have big track records in the majors, they've had success in the minors. They're experienced at that level. They've been really good for them. Jorge Lopez as a late inning guy, that's his role. doesn't need to go back in the rotation. He's thriving as a closer. Felix Bautista made the 40-man roster, had walked a lot of guys in the minors, and all of a sudden he's throwing 100, 102 in the majors and getting big outs like he did in New York last night. So the bullpen's been really good. So, and otherwise, they've got hitters that are really developing now, and they're going to be adding to that collection, of course, with Rutschman. But it's mainly about the pitching. It's been a lot better than we thought it was going to be.
And speaking of pitching, will we see Grayson Rodriguez anytime soon? This is a kid with a 2.70 earned run average and 9 starts in the minor leagues, the number 3 prospect overall in baseball. Might he be following Adley soon?
See, I finally get done having to answer the Rutschman questions, and here comes Grayson Rodriguez questions.
Always, it's never enough.
And then it's going to be DL Hall questions after Rodriguez. There is a specific order here. Yeah, I don't know how soon, but I keep hearing people in the organization say hopefully soon. Now, they need a starter Saturday in Boston for a doubleheader. Don't know if it's going to be that soon, but he's not that far away. And, he had just a couple of kind of rough outings in AAA earlier this year, but then has been really, really good again, last maybe 3 starts. And, they'd worked on a few little things in camp that kind of tweak his delivery a little bit. And he's been much better. He's a big strikeout guy. He's got all the tools and really a top rotation type talent. So we are going to see him, and I would think before the All-Star break, but I cannot zero in on a date because I tried doing that with Rutschman and I was wrong a couple times. But sooner rather than later with Rodriguez, and there's a lot of excitement there. And who knows how a kid coming up, in a rotation first time, whether he'll take his lumps. But I know that fans are excited because even if this doesn't propel the Orioles to first place in the hardest division, they're a lot more interesting to watch now as they filter in these prospects. This is what Mike Elias envisioned. He inherited some really good prospects with Hall and Rodriguez, drafted well. They're developing all these guys. And it's that talent pipeline he's talking about. How we're starting to see it's not just lower levels moving up to the middle, to the upper. It's how guys that are filtering into the majors. And it's exciting to watch.
Yeah, no question about it. It looks like the future for the Orioles is bright. We appreciate your time as always, Roch. Thanks for being with us today.